NASCAR.com. Great horse racing site. Of course, tomorrow is Kentucky Derby Day. But Churchill Downs is met with a lot of skepticism. A lot of long knives. Almost 24 fatalities at Santa Anita during the winter. And now we're reminded of Barbaro and other fatalities or tragedies over the last 20 years in the Triple Crown races. And the question is banning LASIK or not going to the whip as much really going to save this sport? Really going to improve the health of horses? I guess relatively shortly when we talk to Teresa Gennaro and we watch the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. On Sunday, we'll be in Dover. We'll watch the race. We won't be official race. It's not so much who's going to win, but you got analysis. You really got analysis from Sandy Koufax. Think about that. The famous Larry King story he talks about where he went with Sandy Koufax to New Haven, Connecticut on a bet that you could get 3 scoops of ice cream for 15 cents. Has anyone ever heard that? There's a great story that Larry King says. Evidently, there's some embellishment to it. And one of the ideas that Sandy Koufax went along for the ride in 1951. That's the story that he likes to tell, and all this. Now, I guess Sandy Koufax has sort of said, you know what, mention all these things, because what I've said is that, and it's baseball, they've replaced people with numbers, basically. Now, and it's not that baseball never had stats, it's that we love the stats, sure, but they didn't become all-encompassing. Here's 367. No, it was Ty Cobb who was batting. It wasn't now up 755. No, it was Hank Aaron. That sort of thing. Here's 762, or what your FIP is, or something of that nature. And, we talk about that. Anyway, I mention this because I've often said, and I don't mean to sound like a fuddy-duddy, but if so many people think that baseball was better back then, maybe they ought to go back to, baseball was once the most popular sport in America, circa, 1971. Joe Garagiola is still talking about the World Series as America's premier sporting event every year then. It was bigger than the Super Bowl in 1971. Hey, they were moving it into prime time. Super Bowl wasn't there yet. But you know what? No, it's not. Not by a long shot. Maybe the changes have not been for the best. Be they the DH in 73 or what we're going to have now, where, the pitcher must face 3 hitters next year or the runner at second base to begin the 10th inning in minor league games. You've got a commissioner that basically thinks baseball is bad. I've got to change it. And I'm going to do it by doubling down on the gimmicks that had it lose its popularity in the first place. But NASCAR is looking at it in a little bit different way. Now, if there's another sport where people might say it was better back when, maybe it's NASCAR. Because after all, you've got a circumstance where I'm reading comments, you know what, let's get rid of these stage races, playoffs, all that sort of stuff. And look at the attendance in Bristol or any race these days. Yeah, it seems like people liked it better back when. Now, with that said, NASCAR is going back when. They're restoring qualifying. Bonkowski about that. And the race in Dover and all the happenings in NASCAR this week at 1 p.m. At 1:30, I'm talking to Josh Brown. Josh Brown is a podcaster for Nakahoma Nation. The Braves are struggling, coming off an 11-2 loss to San Diego? Huh? Well, you're entitled to one blowout every now and then, I suppose, but it's a little more serious. 4 out of the last 5 games have been losses for Atlanta. On top of that, their record stands at 15-16. Good enough for third place in a National League East that really, unless you're the Florida Marlins, of course. That's the lineup here today. But I want to begin by talking about something that's got a lot of people buzzing and buzzing and buzzing and buzzing about. And usually it's something that we all really like. And that's the Vol Caravan. You know, the Vol Caravan comes out. They meet last year. They met at Meadowview. Okay, I've met at Freedom Hall before. The fans come out and they get all excited and they hear speeches about how great the Tennessee autographs from their heroes. And they tell Phil Fulmer that, you know, this will be the year the Vols go back to the Sugar Bowl and all of that good stuff. And for us in the media, it's a chance, one-on-one, to really find out what these coaches are all about. You can learn so much when you're in their, shall we say, their person. You know, when you're not when you're in their person. I've told this story before where last year, you know, I wear exotic cowboy boots. I can put them up here on Facebook if you'd like. Jeremy Pruitt liked them. He liked my cowboy boots, okay? You know, and was that I remember telling him the story on how I started wearing exotic cowboy boots. It's a funny story. It has to do with David Letterman. Some fan who called out in the old Late Night with David Letterman TV show, Python boots. And, you know, I've got 5 minutes here before I go to break. And the story, well, it's halfway decent, but nevertheless, I think I'll refrain from telling you it. And the reason why I'm going to refrain from telling you it is because I told it to Jeremy Pruitt, and I could tell it went in one ear and out the other. Now, okay, maybe Jeremy Pruitt was just looking down on me. Or, I don't know, maybe he didn't think the story was entirely funny. But usually just as a polite, you know, after I tell you an anecdote, you at least smile. I didn't get that. What I got was, Jeremy Pruitt doesn't get jokes. Didn't know what asparagus was until he was 32. What I got was he's 11 years off of being a high school coach and is now leading the Tennessee Volunteers. What I got was, well, I got that from the Vol Caravan. And yeah, it got me a little skeptical about Jeremy Pruitt's abilities to revive the Tennessee Volunteers. What I've really been critical of and skeptical of is Jeremy Pruitt's idea of one voice to the media, trying to suppress the message, not letting the assistant coaches talk, which isn't going to help them advance up the ladder to become head coaches themselves, which might be why Tennessee's had such a turnover in offensive coordinators. Okay, now Jim Chaney is back and T. Martin is in the fold. People that are comfortable being assistant coaches at Tennessee. Maybe that's a good thing. We're all for Tennessee. Or maybe it's not, because then you don't have the person that is really trying to become that better coach so he can advance up the coaching ladder and become a head coach somewhere else or a coordinator somewhere else. You know, ago he was interviewing to be an NFL head coach. Yeah, it was kind of a courtesy interview, but still, he was being interviewed by the Raiders. Now, he's the wide receivers coach at a football program. That's fallen, even if he did lead the program to a national championship 20 years ago. So, where I'm going and discussing this with you about is that I wanted to talk a little bit about the decision to not have a Vol Caravan. Instead, the University of Tennessee is going to have, oh yes, what do they call it? Smokies Showcase? Essentially, instead of you getting autographs and wishing the main men of the Tennessee athletic department, or women as the case may be with Kelly Harper, you will be going to, I don't know, a high school gym And it'll be a pep rally with Smokey. So instead of really interacting, or the media getting answers about a football program that's come off a couple of losing seasons, about a women's basketball program that is rebuilding, about a men's basketball program that was ranked number 1 in the country, but now has some controversy and a new wrinkle every day in the Rick Barnes story. Of all, Caravan would allow him to talk to the media and really set the record straight on what happened with UCLA. Smokey to a high school gym in Hawkins County? No. There becomes as many questions as before. See, this is where Tennessee doesn't get it. Right now, it looks like, they don't have answers to how our program is going to improve on the gridiron or stay at an elite level on the hardwood. Now, they want to have you get a phony smile from a man in a costume at a high school gym, and that is really, really patronizing to their fans as well as their media. What do we want from our media? Remember when Butch Jones asked that? Now the contemporary Tennessee Athletic Department is doing the same.